Previously on Connection.
Just ask yourself, when it comes to the game that I'm playing in my life, am I in the audience or am I on the court? Am I in the audience or am I on the court?
Welcome to Connection. My name is Bilitis. I'm pleased to be your host on Connection. If you are new to Connection or you start to like it, well, kindly subscribe and turn on the notification button. Like this, each time there is a new episode, you are the first one to know about it. Today in Connection, we continue with our series on Mr. Byron Nelson. Another powerful message to share with you, and actually this will be our last episode on Mr. Byron Nelson, so make the most of it, and I invite you to get your notepads and pen, your brain, and open it up.
So I wanted to make sure that in this conversation I shared with you, it's called PC. I'm gonna close out on this right here. I want you to get it. You know, when you see someone like, Aaron Dome, who's his wings just flap when you see him and what he's doing in the hospitals, and some of the people that I've had an amazing collision of success with, the people that are extraordinary. Paul, we had a brief, conversation. Just when you have this, I look at the mind like a PC, a personal computer, and I built a garden, and I want to leave you with that garden to understand that, what in that conversation I was just having with Annette, it should always end with, how can I support you? Because that will be our conversation. If I have more time, and we will have this conversation, in that, how can I support you? How many times have you wished somebody had said that to you? How can I just truly, authentically, earnestly support you? I don't know if I can do what I can do or how I can do it. But see, if I become that person, I reverse engineer and don't have to look, because people are immediately compelled to say, well, what are you up to? And how can I support you? But we're out there salespeople for whatever it is: love, sex, marriage, money, project, scientifically, whatever we're doing, we're selling. You got to understand the power of that word. I got to get out of selling and learn how to share. No sell, share. How do I learn how to share powerfully? That's huge. And so in my journey of being able to cross these extraordinary giants as I grow from a pup to a giant, with the aspirations of not being as great as them, but greater, not out of arrogance, but out of responsibility, that because they lived before me and opened up doors and blessed me and honored me enough through humility to let me in a space to stand on the shoulders of giants as a responsibility, as we are supposed to do for the next generation of our children, live 2-3 times better than our parents and do better for the next generation of our children, not because we're better than our parents, but because it's a responsibility to the next generation. As I go through that, and I built this amazing garden, I'm really into horticulture. It was my first love as a child, second to geology. I loved rocks. But anyway, my garden, I start with my peas. I'm gonna give you 10 P's. The first P is preparation. Are you really prepared to do what you need to do today? Did you really write down the 10 things, or at least the 5 things that you wanted to accomplish for the next day? Or does that become a run-on sentence and you just keep going day after day after day? But every night that you create one of what my partner says, Atomic Habits, amazing book that he wrote, Atomic Habits, that you created an environment that you know that before you close your eyes, in addition to the meditation, in addition to the prayer, in addition to the centeredness, in addition to the water you should drink before you go to sleep, understanding the 72% of the volume in your body is liquid and should be just like the water that's in your body, 72%, equivalent to that of the body of oceans on the planet Earth. Did you write down the 5 things that you need to accomplish every day so that when you wake up, you can be the lion, that you can be out there, the gazelle, that you're one or the other, that you got up running, knocking out stuff, and now you're done by 12 o'clock, 12 noon, and you got your whole day to yourself. Instead of having incomplete days, and they just, oh God, I didn't do, oh my goodness. And you got 5 things, 10 things you've been attempting to do that take you 7 days that you would have knocked out in 5 hours with the power of focus and intention and preparation. The second P is called a plan. What are you going to do to redirect your ship? See, the destination doesn't change, but the plan does. Who do you have as an accountability partner? I ask people all the time, why do you get a coach? I'm going to give you the short version because we're getting short on time. You get a coach not because he knows better, he can teach you better, he knows more, because you pay somebody to hold you accountable. The higher up you go, the more you need to be held accountable. We don't complete things at the level we want to because we're doing it by ourselves. Many of us are attempting to do open heart surgery on ourselves. Not smart, ladies and gentlemen. Best surgeon in the world, and now you're going to do open heart surgery on yourself. And you want to know why your projects die, or your time is gone, or why you're always tired, or you're depleted, or you're being extorted of life. Got to have a plan. You better get somebody that you don't like, but you love at the end of the journey. Whoever that may be, wherever you want to do it. The third P is a very one. It's called promote. You need to become the Don King. If you don't know the name, he's just a promoter. I don't have time to go into who he is. You need to become the most, if you do what you need to do, let me tell you how promotion works. If I do what I need to do, and I have Ida as a client, and I'm her coach, and I take her life and her vision of what she's doing in being able to help countries and famine and children and the philanthropy that she's doing, and I truly become an enlarger and expand her vision and show her a path to get there in a quarter of the time, there's not enough money on the planet in anybody's bank account you could pay to an advertisement company to get the advertisement I will get from my client if I serve at the highest level. How far do you go to serve? The fourth P is called persistence. Persistence is perseverance at its highest level. The fifth P is pre-qualify. Now you got to understand the people that are in your life, have they been pre-qualified? Listen to what I'm saying. You go and buy a house, do they pre-qualify you? Yes. You buy a car, do they pre-qualify you? Then why do you let people in your life and you haven't pre-qualified them? You don't have to worry about why your boat is drowning. The people that are in your boat are the ones that are actually making the holes in it. So pre-qualification is a deep conversation in itself. The next one is called prospect. In order to prospect properly, you have to become the prospect. We talked about that earlier. Be who you want to attract. 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 The next one is play, record, rewind. There's nothing new under the sun that I'm telling you. But in this recording, are you going to listen to it once, twice? If it truly resonates with you and you can feel the trajectory of changing your life, you need to go and become a scientist and completely break this conversation down. Transcribe it, write it down, put it into your notes, put it into your journal, internalize it. At a later time, if I'm invited back because I didn't go too long, I'll teach you a whole nother method of how you should be reading. It's a system to it. Everybody's like, oh, I read that book, but why is your life still falling apart? If you read one, if you read just 2 of the books that I recommended, you should be changing the world, but you got a whole library and you're still trying to figure out what you're doing. You didn't really read the book. You read it like you were in high school. You don't even remember biology unless you're actually in medicine. The next one is called practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes you better. That's a conversation in itself, because when you look at the best doctor, who's the best doctor that you know? Who's the best tennis player that you know? Who is the best soccer player that you know? Who is the best anything that you know? You know who it is? I'm going to tell you who the best person is. You know, how do you know, Byron? I mean, what are we talking about here? The most extraordinary person that you know is the one who makes, write this down, the one who makes the least mistakes. And you know how they make the least mistakes? They made the most mistakes. See, some of you on here, I can tell you, because I can look in your eyes. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit prophetic. I can tell you, some of your challenges is some of you are such a perfectionist that you don't want to do anything unless you can actually perfect it. You're scared of failing forward. You have to get it right. You'll become a scientist. You do more thinking than you do doing. Some of you actually overthink way too much instead of just jumping in the water and learning how to swim. That's why you get a coach who's going to make you jump. The next P and the last P is presenting. Presenting your presence, how it shows up. I'm sorry, there's one more P. I'll give it to you. I'm just for truly respecting you guys' time. Present. You got to learn how to package yourself. You got to learn how you show up. We don't have to worry about if each one of us on this call, you know, any of us, and have the content, have the context, we know, but before they can get to what's inside of us, they're looking on the outside. And how are you showing up in the world? Are you showing up as a loving human being, somebody who really cares, somebody who pays attention to other people, that is more interested than interesting? Are you actually that person that at every time that you speak to somebody, they feel so isolated that they have 100% of your attention and that you're 100% present? Not like, you're cutting them off. Yeah, shut up. Just listen to them for a minute. Just be there with them. Learn how to be there with them. The last P is called posture. Your posture, your stature, you as a queen on this call, you as a king on this call, are you revered as one who truly is a leader that's there to serve and lift up another nation in whatever you do? That when something goes awry, are they looking for you first? It's like, hey, let me call Amber. Let me call Paul. I know he's got to know what to do. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm not talking about in your craft. I'm talking about as a human being. Let me call Tule. Let me call Ami. I know who to call. I'm having a real problem in my relationship. Not somebody who wants to be held and wants empathy and wants to but somebody who's looking to fix it. People only call me when they want a solution. Don't call me just to have a conversation. They already know. If once I hear the conversation, everybody in my world knows they are enrolled and registered and taking the class. You get one chance to mess up and waste my time to vomit on me about whatever the hell, and you don't want to fix it, we will never talk again. You just wanted somebody to hear your BS, your story that you wrote for all your life. That's the P. Let me give the 4 C's and we'll wrap up. I call it PC because it's a personal computer. It's the download. It's how you actually upload into your brain. You need to defrag before you start putting these systems in. Some of you need a complete cleansing. Some of you might need a whole new computer. I don't know. Let's go to the 4 C's. It's my first lesson when I sit down with the person. It's called 4 C's Inc. I can actually sit down with an individual. And that's why you got to listen. See, the average person only retains 10% of what they hear. As fast as I talk, you're only going to get 5. And considering half of you actually speak and English is your second or third language, you're only going to get 2 to 3%. That's why we're recording, so you can go back and listen to it. Nod your head if that's making sense. Okay? That's why you listen, play, rewind, listen over and over and over and over and over until you know it, until it's in your soul. The 4 C's Inc. is a system that I use in my first consultation when I sit down with a person to find out I can listen to somebody for literally 15 minutes and tell you their entire breakdown or breakthroughs in their life based on these 4 C's. Everything about their life shows up in the first 20 minutes. And it's not that I'm a magician, it's just a powerful system. Let's go through it quickly. The first C is, are you coachable? Are you so arrogant that you think you know everything? Ego stands for edging God out. The minute you think you know everything, you actually become stupid. So are you willing to learn what you don't know that you don't know? That's the first C. We live in, you got to get out of, and this is a golden nugget for you. You have to get out of, and I'm going to tell you where most people fail. Get out of the law of familiarity. You have to get out. The people you know, you have jewels around you and people that you have access to, even here in this summit, but because you're close to them, you're missing the boat. It's the greatest treasure chest. But we're so close to people that we can't really see the values that they bring to us that are beyond our lens, if that makes sense. So are you willing to learn? That's the first C. The second C is consistency. It's not what you do once in a while. It's what you do consistently over a long period of time. You know, I'm watching Arendam actually stretch and work out with one of our other Titans in G, and just watching over a period of time. And then there's also Corey, and there's several other people that are going and learning how to just do yoga or stretch or Pilates or whatever it is that they do. But listen where I'm going with this. Watching what they've been doing, which is about 7 or at least 3 to 5 people, and working out, knowing that Arendam runs a hospital as a doctor and what he does, and his heart is so big. And then watching what Corey is doing in and out of what she can do, it has inspired me. See, I wasn't motivated, but watching other people just want to be better inspires me. Are you being the example that people want to be? It doesn't matter whether Ari can actually do splits or jump up and down. It doesn't matter whether Corey just started and is out of, it doesn't matter. It's like, but to see people that want to live at a level of excellence, keep expanding themselves to wanting to be better. You got to understand how that affects all the rest of the people in your world. They're watching you. Don't you not get that? You don't need to talk about anything. Just be that person and keep expanding. They're watching. When I teach parents, when I deal with single moms, especially, one of my greatest conversations when it comes to parenting and when it comes to mentoring and coaching, you can write this down. Things are caught, not taught. Things are caught, not taught. Nobody cares what's coming out of your mouth. I look at Paul's child right there. He's watching daddy. He knows that love. He's watching how he's going to grow up and be. He's not going to remember anything daddy said, but he's going to remember everything daddy did. Everything daddy did. They're watching us, you guys. So that third C, you got coachable. Are you willing to learn? That second C, are you consistent over a long period of time? People want to, I need to clean up my credit. You're about to buy a house. Well, how quickly can you get this and delete this off my record? Hold it. You spent your whole life messing up your credit. Now all of a sudden you want it cleaned up in a day? You spent your whole life going in debt. Now you want me to get rid of all your money and show you. You made $50,000 last year, but you want me to show you how to make $500,000 in the next year? Are you crackhead? No. That starts internally. If you work out and it didn't hurt, you didn't work out. You got to go through the growing pains. That third C. So you got coachability. You have consistency. That third C is a doozy. It's called commitment. I tell people in relationships, you can be committed or you can be involved. You can be involved with 10 women or 10 men, or you can be committed to one. You can't do both. Don't tell me you got 10 women or 10 men and you're single and you're committed to all of them. It's impossible. Now I use that metaphorically with your cause, your purpose, and your passion. Are you committed to it? And there's different levels to this devil, because for each new level, there is a new devil. And you want to write that down. For each new level that you aspire to get to, you will find a new devil. So no matter how much you think you're committed, you can always do more that will expand the ripple effect. And the fourth C, to wrap this up, is the cornerstone to every relationship. Every relationship. Man and woman, husband, wife, partner and partner, whatever it is, your children, your business, your work. That fourth C is called communication. Communing a nation is really what it comes down to. The fracture in our universe right now is communication. Being able to have powerful, extraordinary communication. Every great marriage that you've ever seen is because they forged and had communication and solved their problems before they went to bed. And every divorce you've ever seen, there was a breakdown in the communication aspect of it. And I built that on a fortress called 4 C's Inc. I just gave you the 4 C's: coachability, consistency, commitment, communication. The fortress of INC, the I underneath that, which this house is built on, is called integrity. The N in INC stands for a non-negotiable attitude. Your attitude will always dictate your altitude, that will give you your longitude, that will take you to your destination. That's why you got to go back and listen to this again. Your attitude dictates your altitude. Just remember that part. However high you want to fly is going to be predicated on how great of an attitude you have. Non-negotiable attitude. I do not negotiate for BS. And the last C stands for your community, your charity. None of this that we have, ladies and gentlemen, is for you to keep. You can't take it to your grave with you, no matter what you accomplish or acquire on this planet. You might as well learn how to give it away. It should be the greatest lesson you learned. Whenever I get into a jam in my life, whenever I get into a jam, the first thing I do, a jam meaning I don't know what to do. I've spent myself, I've deployed myself in every capacity of trying to figure out the problem. It's like, whatever it is, the first thing that I do is like, the walls are caving in. Who can I help? I immediately go and help somebody. And when I tell you that that is the most therapeutic, most gorgeous thing you could ever do, is to figure out when you're frustrated, anxiety is at an all-time high, you have nothing, no way out of a problem, whatever it is, and you just learn how to go and help somebody, feed a homeless person, do whatever the hell you got to do to give and give and give. Go take off your shoes and hand them to somebody and see how you feel. The homeless person think you did it for them. Oh, he's so nice. No, I did it for me. You forgive people and they think that you're forgiving them. I forgive you. Thank you. You aren't forgiving people that are asinine or hurt you or did something bad to you in your life. For them, you're doing it to release yourself. It's a lot in this conversation. I want to share something. It's one of my favorite stories to close out my part, and I'll turn it back over to Ida. I hope that what I've shared this morning has blessed you immensely. It's something that is really where I am, as far as it really screams about my life and who I am. Maybe it gives you a better picture and what I call window to understanding the journey of my life. I have 2 programs that I'm launching when I finish this book that are amazing. One is called The Journey, which is amazing because it takes you back to your points of pain through your entire journey of life and allows you to redirect that pain. I'll give you a quick example. I had a guy who I was talking to just 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, and he shared with me, he's like, Byron, you don't understand. I'm successful. I make a lot of money. I do a lot of great things. I've helped with a lot of charities, but I had to become a man. My father slept with the babysitter when I was 1 year old and left. And I've never had a real man figure in my life. And my mother, she has been possessed with challenges, disease, and she's mentally, I just had to put her in a home for mental health literally a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm into my late 30s and I'm just really, and he wanted to share and I'm there with him. I'm like, and he's telling me I've been around the world, I've done this and and all this, but I've had to do this since I was 1 year old and had to raise myself and take care of my family. And I said, let's stop for a second. And I said, that is amazing. First, let me acknowledge you for how extraordinary you are. But do you mind? This is why every one of you, I want you to think about this for the rest of the day. If I've been able to hold your attention this long, which is pretty amazing, and I'm blessed and I'm honored and thank you, because I know how valuable time is. That's a whole nother conversation. I want you to think about, when was the last time you reversed the conversation? I mean, really redesign your story of all the things that are negative in your life. I just did for someone yesterday. And I said, let me be you for a second, James. Oh my God, I'm so blessed. My father cheated with the babysitter when I was 1 year old. Do you know how many men don't know how to be a man at 30, 40, and 50? I was forced to be a man at the age of 2. I am so grateful to my father for having left me. Now, I'm not happy about the circumstances. I pray that he's really happy. But because there wasn't a man there, I had to learn how to take care of my credit. I had to learn how to take care of my bills. I had to learn how to take care of my mom. I had to become a man. By the time I was 6, 7 years old, I was handling the entire household. And my mom, bless her soul, because it's amazing. Yeah, there's an old tale that a person does not appreciate a pair of shoes until they see someone who doesn't have feet. It's quite amazing that my mom has blessed me and been here in my life with all of her challenges, with all of her health issues, with all of her mental instability. I've learned everything about the health system. I learned everything about taking care of my mom. I've been able to be blessed to have a mom, even if she was a vegetable, which she's not. But I'm there, and I learned how to become a man and take care of a woman. It's quite amazing. And I'm so grateful because I've been put in Zambia to walk spaces and places where I was supposed to be killed, but I learned how to thrive. He kept using the word survive. For those of you that, especially women, but men as well, that are survivors of cancer and this and survivors of that, stop using that word. Use the word thrive. Use the word thrive. I thrive because of what I've been through. Not I've survived. You aren't just here. You aren't some freaking ant in the middle of a wilderness just trying to find a crumb of bread. You're thriving. And I re-engineered his entire story, and he was just so thankful. And he said, we scheduled a half-hour conversation. It ended up being an hour and a half. We scheduled a conversation 2 days later. It was scheduled for about an hour. We ended up talking 2 hours. It's like the conversation becomes more and more interesting because we're interested. We genuinely, I want more conversations like that. Then I prefer 2 or 3 of those a day than a whole bunch of random ones throughout the, like 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, I talked to, how you doing? How's your mama? How's your father? Oh, how's the business doing? Oh yeah. I don't want to do that. I don't need that in my life. So I want to share with you this last story that totally represents me. It's an amazing story. And I want it to be recorded for you guys. And it was about a teacup. Amazing story. There was a couple who used to go to England and to shop in these beautiful stores, all these beautiful stores. And they look like antiques and pottery, and especially teacups. This was their 25th anniversary. Can you imagine 25th anniversary? And one day in this beautiful shop, they saw this beautiful cup. They said, may we see that? We've never seen one like that, so beautiful. And as the lady handed it to them, suddenly the cup spoke. You don't understand, it said. I haven't always been a teacup. There was a time when I was red and I was clay, and my master took me and he rolled me and patted all over me. And I yelled out, let me alone, let me alone. But he only smiled and he said, not yet. But then he put it in the oven. He put me in the oven. Can you imagine? He put me in the oven. This teacup was talking to the old couple. He said, I never felt such heat. The teacup said, I wonder why he wanted to burn me. I yelled and knocked on the door. I couldn't see. I looked through the opening and I couldn't read. I could read his lips. He shook his head. He said, not yet. And finally the door opened. He put me on the shelf and I began to cool oh my God, oh, that's better. I said, and then he started brushing on me, and he brushed and painted all over me with fumes, and it was horrible. And I thought I was going to gag. I wanted to stop it, I'm crying. And he only nodded and said, not yet. Then suddenly he put me back into the oven, not like the first one. This one was twice as hot, and I knew I would suffocate. I was begging, I pleaded, I screamed, I cried. All the time I could see him through the opening, nodding his head, saying, not yet. Then I knew there wasn't any hope for me. I wasn't going to make it. That was my life. There's been many times I didn't think I was going to make it. I've been on suicide before, once, only in my life, thank God. I've seen people killed in my life. You know, I've seen people die in my life. And I thought I would never make it. I was like, why not? Why am I even still here? I don't know if anybody's ever had that sentiment. And I was like, this oven was twice as hot. This COVID, twice as hot. This black and white issue, twice as hot. This economic divide, twice as hot. The anxiety and fear that the people that have power, that are imploring and impressing upon the universe to create this divide, twice as hot. And I was like, why? You know, why is this happening to me? Why did I get put back in the oven the second time? I begged, I pleaded, I screamed, I cried all through the time while looking through the opening, nodding his head, saying, not yet. Then I knew there wasn't any hope for me. And so many times in my life, I would never make it. I was ready to give up, but the door opened and he took me out and he placed me on this shelf that you just came and saw me on. 1 hour later, he handed me a mirror and I said, look at yourself. And I did. I said, that's not me. It's not me. That couldn't be me. Byron, that couldn't be you. Because you got to learn to love yourself before you can love someone else. You got to help somebody else. You got to help yourself before you can help someone else. On the plane, it says, take the mask and put it over yourself before you even deal with your own child so you can help other people. I said, that's not me. It couldn't be me. It's beautiful. I'm beautiful. Oh my God. And he looked at me and he said, I want you to remember then. I know it hurt to be rolled and patted. And if I left you alone, you'd have dried up. I know it made you dizzy to spin around on the wheel, but if I had stopped, you would have crumbled. I knew it hurt and it was hot and disagreeable in that oven, but if I had not put you there, you would have cracked. I know the fumes were bad when I painted it all over you, but had I not done that, you wouldn't have hardened and you wouldn't have any color in your life. And if I hadn't put you back in that oven the second time, oh my God. If I hadn't let you see what you've seen, what you've gone through, the divorce you've been through, the pain you went through, the losing your business, haven't gone to the bottom, had millions, lost it, had money, lost it, foreclosure, everything that you've gone through, had I not put you in the oven the second time, the hardness wouldn't have held. Now you're a finished product. You're what I had in mind when I first started. You're a piece of the master. You're a masterpiece. My titans. For each one of you who can hear my voice, you are a freaking masterpiece. Live it to that degree. I love you guys. I am complete.
Love you too.
Love you guys.
Amazing, Byron. You just blew us up. Amazing. Love you lots, Byron. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Mr. Byron Nelson, for sharing with us your inner wisdom. And this was your third episode out of 3 for our mini series on Mr. Byron Nelson. The 5 key points of today are your responsibility to the next generation, the 10 P's, the 4 C, the ink, and the teacup story. Let's review them. So first, what is your responsibility to the next generation? The 10 P's. First one, preparation. Are you really prepared to do what you need to do today? Second P, the plan. The third P is called promote. How far do you go to serve? Fourth P is called persistence. Persistence is perseverance at its highest level. Fifth P is pre-qualified. You get to understand that the people that are in your life have been there because you have pre-qualified them. 6P is prospect. Be who you want to attract. The 7th P is play, report, rewind. 8th P is practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes you better. The 9th P is presenting. Your presence is about how you show up. Learn how to package yourself. Learn how to show up and being somebody who really cares and pay attention to other people and being more interested than interesting. The 10th P is posture, as one truly is a leader that is there to serve and lift up one another. The 4th C is, are you coachable? Consistency, because it's not what you do once in a while that matters. It's what you do consistently over a long period of time. The 3rd C is commitment. How committed are you to any level in your life? The 4th C is communication. About INC, what does it stand for? So I for integrity, N for non-negotiable attitude, C for community. Then about Jim's story and how to turn around your story to see what you've been through and what are the learnings of what it makes you of you today. And last but not least, about the teacup. Remember, you are a piece of the master, you are a masterpiece. As you know, Connection supports Gift a Dream Foundation. Gift a Dream Foundation was first created to bring education over countries like in India and in Kenya. However, due to COVID, the focus has changed. This is why Gift a Dream Foundation launched the food parcel movement. Did you know that for $2 a day, you could feed a family of 5? So Gift a Dream needs you, they need you. All details for donation are located on the description box below. This was your connection, and if you're new to it, or if you start to like it, kindly subscribe and turn on the notification button. Like this, each time there is a new episode, you are the first one to know about it. Thank you, and see you next Friday.